Hey there, you curious mind-bender you. Ever found yourself in a heated argument, heart racing, palms sweaty, only to realize you're losing control? And the room? Or maybe you've been in a conversation where someone seems to know exactly what you're thinking, pulling your strings like a master puppeteer. Welcome to the shadowy world of dark psychology, where the art of influence dances on the edge of ethics and the human mind becomes your playground. I'm not talking about telepathy or crystal balls, though let's be honest, that'd be cool. No, today we're diving into something far more real, far more powerful. These are the tricks that let you slip into someone's head, not like a burglar, but like a whisper, leaving them none the wiser. Think of it as emotional alchemy, turning tension into trust, chaos into clarity, and maybe even a grumpy boss into your biggest fan. Now, before we get started, let me throw in a little disclaimer. With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben was onto something, and I'm not just talking about Spider-Man. These 7 dark psychology tricks are like a double-edged sword. Use them carelessly, and you might cut yourself. Use them wisely, and you'll unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Whether you're navigating a tense family dinner, charming a client, or just trying to get your roommate to finally do the dishes, these techniques will give you the upper hand. So, grab a notebook, dim the lights, and let's step into the shadows together. By the end of this, you'll be weaving influence like a demon, but a nice demon. Ready? Let's dive in. Picture this. It's a Monday morning and you're sitting in a meeting. Your co-worker, Karen, yes, that Karen, is droning on about her weekend yoga retreat, and you can feel the room's energy draining like a smartphone on 1%. You try to steer the conversation back to the project deadline, but she's not budging. Your frustration bubbles up, your voice tightens, and before you know it, you've snapped. Can we just focus? The room goes silent. Karen smirks. You've lost the plot and the respect of everyone at the table. Sound familiar? We've all been sucked into the emotional vortex at some point. Anger, anxiety, or just plain exasperation taking the wheel. And here's the kicker. When your emotions run the show, you're not just losing control of yourself, you're handing the reins to everyone else. The great philosopher Plato once said, "We are twice armed if we fight with faith." But in the arena of human interaction, faith isn't enough. You need strategy. Dark psychology isn't about manipulation for manipulation's sake. It's about understanding the invisible threads that connect our emotions, thoughts, and actions. It's about mastering the chaos within and around you. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, believed that much of human behavior is driven by unconscious desires and impulses. He said, "The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water." Dark psychology taps into that hidden 6/7, the part of the mind most people don't even realize is steering them. By the time we're done, you'll have 7 tricks to navigate that iceberg like a seasoned captain, turning stormy seas into smooth sailing. So, let's get to it. Here are 7 dark psychology tricks to master emotional influence. Each one a key to unlocking the human mind. Use them wisely, and you'll be the one calling the shots, without anyone ever suspecting a thing. Trick 1. The mirror of validation. Let's start with a classic move that's so subtle, it's practically invisible. The mirror of validation. Ever notice how people light up when they feel seen? Validation is like catnip for the human ego. It makes people feel important, understood, and most importantly, safe around you. Here's how it works. When someone's talking, whether they're venting about their terrible day or bragging about their latest promotion, don't just nod along like a bobblehead. Instead, reflect their emotions back to them with a carefully crafted statement. For example, if your friend is ranting about their boss, Say, "Wow, that sounds incredibly frustrating. I can't imagine how tough it must be to deal with that kind of micromanaging." Why does this work? Because you're not just listening, you're showing them you get it. You're holding up a mirror to their emotions, and people love seeing their reflection. This trick taps into a concept from psychologist Carl Rogers, who emphasized unconditional positive regard in building trust. By validating someone's feelings, you create a psychological bond that makes them more likely to open up, trust you, and even follow your lead. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're at a family reunion, and your cousin is complaining about how nobody appreciates his new vegan lifestyle. Instead of rolling your eyes, tempting, I know, try this. It sounds like you've put a lot of thought into this change, and it's tough when people don't see the effort you're making. Watch his demeanor shift. Suddenly, you're not just another skeptic, you're his ally. He might even start spilling secrets about Aunt Linda's famous cookie recipe. But here's the dark psychology twist. Validation isn't just about making them feel good, it's about lowering their defenses. When people feel understood, they let their guard down, making them more receptive to your influence. Want to pitch an idea? Need a favor? The mirror of validation primes them to say yes. A word of caution, don't overdo it. If you're too effusive, you'll come off as insincere, like a used car salesman trying to unload a lemon. Keep it genuine, keep it subtle, and you'll have them eating out of your hand. Pro tip: practice this in low-stakes situations first, like with a barista or a coworker, before deploying it in high-pressure scenarios. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. Trick 2. The whisper of curiosity. Next up, let's talk about the whisper of curiosity, a trick so sly it could sneak past a lie detector. Want to get someone to spill their secrets without them realizing you're digging? This is your go-to move. Here's the setup. Instead of asking direct questions that put people on edge, you plant a seed of curiosity by making an assumption, preferably one that's slightly off. For example, let's say you're trying to figure out what your new co-worker does outside of work. Instead of asking, "What do you do for fun?" boring and obvious, try this. "I heard you're into extreme sports, like skydiving or something wild. Is that true?" Now, they're compelled to correct you. "Skydiving? Nah, I'm more into hiking and photography." Boom! You've just learned something without seeming nosy. This works because people have a natural urge to set the record straight, especially when you've piqued their interest with a bold or intriguing assumption. The philosopher Socrates mastered this technique with his Socratic method, asking questions that seemed innocent but led people to reveal their deepest thoughts. He once said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." By playing curious rather than all-knowing, you invite others to fill in the blanks. Let's set the scene. You're at a networking event, and you want to know if a potential client is open to a new deal. Instead of asking directly, you say, "I heard your company's been focusing heavily on sustainability lately. Is that the big push this year?" Even if you're wrong, they'll correct you. "Actually, we're more focused on expanding our digital platform." Now you've got valuable intel, and they think they steered the conversation. The dark psychology edge here is that you're controlling the narrative without them noticing. By framing your question as a statement, you avoid triggering their defenses. It's like slipping into their mind through a back door. Pro tip: pair this with a casual tone and a slight smile to make it feel like a friendly guess rather than a calculated probe. And don't overuse it. Too many assumptions, and you'll start sounding like you're fishing. Trick 3. The illusion of vulnerability. Now let's get a little more daring with the illusion of vulnerability. Want to build trust faster than you can say team building retreat? Share a secret, or at least make them think you're sharing one. Here's how it plays out. You're trying to get someone to open up. Maybe a friend who's been distant or a colleague who's holding back on a project. Lean in slightly, lower your voice and say something like, "You know, I've never told anyone this, but I'm really nervous about this upcoming presentation. It's been keeping me up at night." Then add, "Please don't mention it to anyone." Here's the magic. By sharing or pretending to share something personal, you create a sense of intimacy. They feel special, chosen, like they're part of an exclusive club. And because humans are wired for reciprocity, they're more likely to share something back. Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence, talks about the principle of reciprocity. When you give something, people feel obligated to give back. By offering a secret, you trigger this instinct, and suddenly they're spilling details they'd never share otherwise. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're trying to get your roommate to admit they've been eating your leftovers. Rude, but we've all been there. You say, "Hey, I've got to confess something. I accidentally used your fancy olive oil last week and felt so guilty about it. Don't tell anyone I'm such a klutz, okay?" They laugh, feel closer to you, and might just blurt out, "Oh, that's nothing. I've been sneaking your yogurt all month." Gotcha. The dark psychology twist? Your secret doesn't have to be real. It just has to feel authentic. Craft a believable story, keep it low stakes, and watch the trust flow. But here's the ethical line. Don't use this to manipulate someone into revealing something they'll regret. That's how you end up with a villain arc instead of a hero one. Pro tip: practice your delivery in the mirror. A slight hesitation or a nervous glance can sell the illusion of vulnerability better than any script. Trick 4. The Anchor of Familiarity. Let's talk about the Anchor of Familiarity, a trick that makes people feel like they've known you forever, even if you just met. Ever wonder why some people seem to charm everyone they meet? They're not just lucky, they're using familiarity to their advantage. Here's the deal. Humans are drawn to what feels familiar because it signals safety. To create this, subtly mimic the other person's body language, tone, or even their choice of words. If they lean forward, you lean forward. If they use phrases like "totally" or "you know what I mean," sprinkle those into your speech. This technique, known as mirroring in psychology, was studied by researchers like Tanya Chartrand, who found that subtle mimicry increases likability and trust. It's like creating a psychological shortcut to familiarity. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, chatting with a potential business partner. They're animated, gesturing wildly as they talk about their startup. You match their energy, nodding enthusiastically and using similar gestures. Without realizing it, they start to feel like you're on the same wavelength. By the end of the conversation, they're saying, "I feel like we've known each other forever." The dark psychology angle? You're not just building rapport, you're creating a sense of belonging that makes them more likely to agree with you, share information, or even do you a favor. It's like planting a seed that grows into trust. But here's the catch. Subtlety is key. If you mimic too obviously, you'll come off as a creepy copycat. Keep it natural and don't mirror negative behaviors, like if they're slouching in defeat, don't slump along with them. Pro tip: start with small gestures, like matching their posture or pacing, and gradually incorporate their verbal style. It's like learning a dance, smooth and seamless wins the day. Trick 5. The subtle reframe. Ready for a mind bender? The subtle reframe is all about changing how someone sees a situation without them realizing you've pulled the strings. This trick is like rewriting the script of their thoughts. Here's how it works. When someone's stuck in a negative mindset, say they're stressed about a looming deadline, don't argue or dismiss their feelings. Instead, reframe their perspective by offering a new angle. For example, say, "I get that this deadline feels overwhelming, but it's also a chance to show everyone how capable you are under pressure. This works because you're not denying their reality, you're redirecting it. You're planting a new narrative that shifts their focus from stress to opportunity. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, who won a Nobel Prize for his work on decision-making, showed that how we frame choices can dramatically alter people's decisions. A well-placed reframe can turn a no into a maybe or even a yes. Let's set the scene. Your friend is freaking out about a job interview. Instead of saying, "Don't worry, you'll be fine, try this." I know interviews are nerve-wracking, but think of it as a chance to tell your story and show them what makes you unique. Suddenly, they're not just facing a test, they're starring in their own hero's journey. The dark psychology edge here is that you're subtly steering their emotions and decisions. By reframing their perspective, you're shaping how they think without them realizing you're in the driver's seat. Pro tip: use positive language and tie the reframe to something they value, like success, recognition, or growth. And always validate their feelings first to make the reframe feel natural. Trick 6. The pause that commands. Now, let's talk about the pause that commands. A trick so powerful it can stop a room in its tracks. Ever notice how silence can be louder than words? When used strategically, a well-timed pause can make people hang on your every word and give you the upper hand. Here's how to pull it off. In a conversation, when you're about to make a key point or ask a big question, pause. Let the silence linger for just a beat longer than feels comfortable. For example, if you're negotiating a raise, say, "I've been thinking about my contributions to the team." Pause. "And I believe my work justifies a higher salary." That pause does two things. It grabs attention and it creates anticipation. People lean in, waiting for you to fill the silence, which makes your next words hit harder. The philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "Silence is a source of great strength." In dark psychology, silence is a weapon, amplifying your presence and authority. Imagine you're at a heated family dinner and everyone's arguing about politics. Instead of shouting to be heard, you say, "I hear what everyone's saying." Pause, but maybe we're missing the bigger picture here. Suddenly, all eyes are on you, and your words carry weight. The dark psychology twist? That pause isn't just about drama. It's about control. By holding the silence, you're dictating the rhythm of the conversation, making others wait on your terms. Pro tip: practice your timing. A pause that's too short feels awkward, too long, and you lose the moment. Aim for 2 to 3 seconds to create maximum impact. Trick 7. The mask of composure. Finally, let's talk about the mask of composure, the ultimate power move in dark psychology. Emotions are contagious. When you're flustered, others sense weakness. But when you stay calm, cool, and collected, you project an aura of unshakable confidence. Here's the trick. No matter how heated the situation, keep your emotions in check. If someone's yelling at you, don't match their energy. Instead, respond in a steady, even tone. For example, if a client is upset about a delayed project, say, "I understand your frustration and I'm working on a solution to get us back on track." This works because composure signals control. When you don't react emotionally, you force others to adjust to your energy. Psychologist Albert Bandura's concept of self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to handle challenges, plays a big role here. By staying calm, you're not just managing the moment, you're shaping how others perceive you. Picture this. You're in a high-stakes meeting, and a colleague is throwing you under the bus. Instead of getting defensive, you take a deep breath, Smile slightly and say, "That's an interesting perspective. Let's look at the data to clarify things." Your calm demeanor makes them look erratic, and you come out on top. The dark psychology angle? Composure creates mystery. People wonder, what does she know that I don't? That uncertainty makes them more likely to defer to you, trust you, or even fear you a little. Pro tip: practice mindfulness or deep breathing to stay grounded in tense moments. The more you master your emotions, the more you master the room. Oh, you thought we were done? Here's a bonus trick to leave you with a little extra magic: the doorway effect. Want someone to remember you long after the conversation ends? End on a high note. Right before you part ways, say something memorable: a compliment, a shared laugh, or a thought-provoking question. For example, "It was great talking to you. Your passion for this project is seriously inspiring." This works because of the primacy-recency effect in psychology. People remember the first and last moments of an interaction most vividly. By leaving them with a positive, memorable moment, you ensure you linger in their mind like a catchy song. Try it, and watch how people light up when they see you next. You're not just a face in the crowd anymore, you're a shadow they can't forget. Alright, we've just unlocked 7 dark psychology tricks that can make you a master of emotional influence. But before we wrap up, let's talk about the bigger picture. These techniques aren't just party tricks, they're tools for navigating the messy, beautiful chaos of human relationships. Let's bring it back to a real-life story. A few years ago, I was at a conference where I needed to pitch an idea to a room full of skeptical investors. My heart was pounding, my notes were a mess, and I could feel the room's doubt weighing on me. But I remembered one thing: control the narrative. I used the mirror of validation to acknowledge their concerns, the whisper of curiosity to get them talking about their priorities, and the mask of composure to keep my cool. By the end, they weren't just listening, they were invested. I walked away with a deal and a lesson. Influence isn't about manipulation, it's about connection. The philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. These tricks are powerful, but they're only as good as the intention behind them. Use them to build trust, foster understanding, and create win-win situations. Use them selfishly, and you risk burning bridges. So, whether you're calming a tense meeting, charming a new friend, or just trying to get your dog to stop chewing your shoes, these techniques can help you navigate the world with confidence and grace. Just remember, the goal isn't to control others, it's to empower yourself to connect, persuade, and inspire. And there you have it, my fellow shadow weavers. 7 dark psychology tricks to master emotional influence like a pro. From the mirror of validation to the mask of composure, you've got the tools to slip into someone's head, not like a demon, but like a guide, leading them where you both want to go. If you loved this deep dive into the human mind, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mind-bending content. Until next time, stay curious, stay ethical, and keep weaving those shadows with purpose. Catch you in the next one.